Hello, and welcome to episode 35 of the Julie the Knitter podcast. I am coming to you from Queens, New York, where I live with my two crazy kids and my wild beast of a dog who is currently trying to climb into my lap. This is a podcast mainly about knitting and whatever other crafty things I happen to be getting into during the week. Lately, it's really been during the month because I've been more on a once a month kind of recording schedule lately. But if you're new here, welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad you found us. If you're coming back, I am so glad that you're back. So I hope you're all doing well and staying safe. We got a little bit of a crazy times we're living in these days with this COVID-19 situation. Here in New York, it seems like we've finally plateaued for a few days. So hopefully we'll start to see some improvement in the coming future. I hope wherever you guys are in the world, you are hanging in there and staying healthy, and I hope you're not losing your minds stuck in the house. I have been lucky enough to be able to work from home, but that means I'm also dealing with kids that are doing school from home too, and it's a little crazy these days. Our days are a little chaotic, but it won't last forever. That's what I keep telling myself. So here we are. Hello. All right. So it's been a little while. So I've got some stuff to show you. The astute among you will notice that I am wearing something that I was talking about last time. I am currently wearing a finished object, and this is the Beauty School top by Appel of Poison Girls Knitting Designs. Is it Poison Girls or just Poison Girl Designs? I'm not sure exactly. Maybe I could tell you because I probably have it handy somewhere. I am so prepared today, as you can tell. I think it's just by Poison Girls. Okay. Well, anyway, it is the Beauty School top, which is a plain stockinette top. It comes with a few different options in terms of how you want the finished object to be. Comes with options for short sleeve, 3/4 sleeve, or a full length sleeve. I went for the 3/4 sleeve. It also gives you an option for a crew neck versus a mock turtleneck, and I wasn't sure which way I was going to go. I thought that the mock turtleneck might be a little bit too long on me. I wound up going with the crew, and it actually came out really nice. I was worried that it might be too snug when I knit it, that I wouldn't be able to get my head through, but it wound up being just the right amount of stretchy, because the way it works is, I don't want to tell you too much, but because it is a paid for pattern, but you knit to a certain length and then you fold over and you do some other stuff and you kind of sew it into the seam, the seam that's created when you picked up the stitches to cast on the neckband. So I was worried that it wouldn't be very stretchy, but it's just right. It's perfect. The pattern also gives you the option to do a cropped length versus a natural waist length. I went for the natural waist, which is a bit longer. It's still cropped. It still comes just below my belly button, which is fine because I like to wear high-waisted jeans. It goes really nicely with pencil skirts and things like that. So let's see if I can give you a good shot here. So here it comes here. This is my belly button's like right here. And that's that. It has a really good fit. The sleeves are really great. It's really knit in one piece. So you knit the body and then you pick up stitches for the sleeve and you do like a little short row sleeve cap on the sleeve here. It has a very, as you can see, very vintage kind of feel to it, very 1960s kind of look. And that's really, I love it, that 50s, 60s vibe. The yarn that I used, let's see if I have my tag real quick. I do. It is Neighborhood Fiber Co. in their studio sock base, which is 100% superwash merino. And this is on their Windsor Terrace colorway, which was an exclusive colorway for the Argyle Yarn Shop, which is a shop over in Brooklyn. It was exclusive for the Vogue Knitting Live this past January. I bought a few skeins because once I saw it, I'm like, yeah, I really would like a sweater of that. I bought 3 skeins. I bought 3 skeins at Vogue Knitting Live, and this took just over 2 skeins. So I had most of a 3rd skein left over. I did alternate skeins while I was knitting this because with indie dyed yarns you can get some pooling, or you know, there's a lot of discrepancies. They're not going to be exactly identical skeins of yarn. So in order to minimize that, it helps to alternate your skeins, which I did. So you don't really see, like, there's one of the skeins was slightly bluer, where one of the other skeins was slightly more the reddish, or the blue was a little lighter. So it did you can't notice it now, but I did still get a little bit of pooling in some spots, which is fine. I don't mind. I think it actually looks pretty cool. I like the way the colors are. It's got this really nice light sky blue, and it's got little flashes. Sorry guys, you're getting a boob shot here, but there's little reds and there's these little purples and there's great colors. But it knit up so nicely, and I really love the way it came out. Like I said, I did have almost a full skein of yarn left over, and I didn't want it to go to waste. I'm like, well, I don't want it to just sit there. So what I did was cast on something else. As you do. So Amy Appel of Poison Girls has all these patterns that, you know, she has sweater tops that are along the same lines, I'd say the same kind of style as this top. Some of them are a little bit more not just stockinette, not just plain knit, but she also has these great little turbans, because, you know, especially now with the quarantine, everybody wants to do their hair. Not that I really do much with my hair anyway, but I knit up the Frenchy turban, and it is so stinking cute. This has, I'll take it off so I can show you a little better, but the back has this great little ridged detail. You would think it's scrunchy, but it's not scrunchy. It doesn't stretch there, which is fine. And it has bobbles all over it, which I never found myself to be much of a bobble knitter, but let me just tell you, I enjoyed knitting this pattern so much. It was delightful, but it matches. I'm not much of a matchy person normally either, and I can see myself wearing this with other stuff, much more neutral colored tops and things like that, but it is great, and it just, you know, goes on and it ties on the top. I'm not sure if I'm tying this as well as I could, but it's great. It's great, it's cozy, it looks adorable, and guys, you don't really have to do much with your hair because you could just throw it all in there. Perfect. But again, this is the leftover yarn from my Neighborhood Fiber Company yarn in their Windsor Terrace colorway. Both the sweater and the hat were both knit using size 3 and size 2 US needles. And let's see, I'm trying to think of what else I could say about it. This was an interesting construction. You're doing it mostly flat, and towards the end you join in the round to shape the crown of the hat, or the turban, whatever you want to call it. And then you pick up stitches for the ties. You are supposed to pick up a certain number of stitches, and I didn't quite get that number. I think I was shy by 5 stitches, so I made sure that on the other side I picked up the same amount. I did knit the 2 ties kind of at the same time. I had them both on separate needles, and I would like knit 2 rows here and then knit 2 rows there, because I didn't have all that much yarn. It was going to be tight, and I was worried that I wouldn't be able to finish the ties. all in all, between the sweater and the turban, this is all the yarn I have left. It's very little. I'd say it's less than 20 grams. Definitely less than 20 grams. Maybe 10 grams of yarn. But, which is not much. But, oh, here you can kind of see the variation. See, this one's a little more bluer. This one's a little more the purpley. And even the blue is not quite identical. But yeah, I didn't have much left. So I wound up having just enough yarn to finish everything. But I knit them up concurrently, and it came out great. I would have liked, I don't know if it's the way the pattern is written or if it's in how I blocked it, I would like the ribbing, there's a little bit of ribbing along the edge, to be slightly tighter, slightly snugger. I think if I were to knit this again, I might go down a needle size further for the ribbing. I was trying not to block it too aggressively, but who knows? It fits nicely. I love it. I think it's so freaking cute. And there you go. So there you go. Those are my 2 finished objects for you guys today. So I'm wearing them all. In terms of works in progress, I am still working on my Plumpy shawl, and I am plugging away, and I will say that I've reached the point of this shawl pattern where I'm kind of just ready for it to be done. It's a long slog. Not that I don't dislike the pattern. I don't dislike the yarn. I mean, it's Sweet Sparrow Yarns, who is probably one of my favorite indie dyers out there. I just like her colorways. I like them. I like her yarn. But this is all her stuff, all her yarn. And this is the Plumpy shawl by Andrea Mowry. And I am nearly finished. So the pattern itself alternates between garter stitch and like a half garter, half brioche thing for each row. And you fade into different colors. So I am doing the sport weight version, which is also the 3 color version. The pattern also does give you an option to do a DK weight and a 4 color version, but I didn't do that. So the colorways I'm using, I think I have them written down because I'm not going to dig around for my tags. Color A, the first color here is Once Upon a Dream, which is really such a sweet color. It's this really light blush, maybe it's more of a cream with blush pink and little darker speckles in there, and then it's fading into this purpley color, which is Mushaboom, and it's just this really sweet lilac color, and that's going to fade into here, which is Stormy Seas, which is this nice blue. Now I am, where were we last time? Last time I was all the way down here. So I finished this brioche section, and I did the next garter stitch section and the next brioche section, and now I'm on the final garter stitch section, and there will be one more brioche section before I cast off. So it's you're knitting from the smallest point. It's like a, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the word. The kind of triangle, but it's like a long triangle. So you're starting down here, and it's really small down here, and it just gets big and big and big and big, and then it kind of goes like that. So I just feel like it's taking me forever to do it. Now I was really excited to cast this pattern on because I had never done the brioche stitch before, and I'm like, well, you know, it's about time I bit the bullet and learned to love the bomb. So I did. And I mentioned last time it took me a few repeats of the brioche pattern to understand how I was supposed to be doing the decrease stitch, and I finally figured it out, and everything's been smooth sailing since. But then I'm just like, well, you know, you gotta like repeat certain rows a certain amount of times, and I don't want to I don't want to pay that close attention to what row I'm on. You know what I mean? I'm ready to be working on something where I can just, just kind of do it a little bit more mindlessly. Not that this is kind of a mindless pattern. I just had to keep track of what row I'm on. But I don't really want to cast on a stockinette sock, like a plain vanilla sock, because I think that's a little too, maybe I'll have to, because I've got sock cast on-itis right now. I really want to cast on socks. Maybe I will cast on a plain sock and a pattern sock. I've really been dying to knit up the something tea socks, Cornish tea socks by Helen Stewart of Curious Handmade. I've had the pattern printed out and staring at me for quite some time, and and I was, dipping into the stash this week, like, what color do I want to do? And I seem to be on a very pink kick, which, if you know me, I'm not really a pink person, but I've been on a real pink yarn kick. So I'm just going with it, because that's what I do. I just roll with it. But anyway, back to this. I'm almost finished. I'm ready for it to be done. I really, especially now that I figured out the brioche, I think it's charming. I don't want to do the garter stitch rows. I just want to do all the brioche. So maybe there'll be more brioche patterns in the future. Much more, not engaging. Engaging's not the word. It's not that I'm not engaged. I just want it to be done so I can wear it. Not that we're going to have much shawl wearing weather coming, but I just want it to be done because it's beautiful, beautiful. Can you tell I've been stuck inside for a long time? That really is it. I don't have much to say else about this pattern. I'm hoping to get that finished this week so I can cast something else on. I don't want to cast anything else on yet until I finish this, because I feel like if I do, this is just going to sit there unfinished for a really long time, and I don't know if I'll go back to it. So I just want to get it done. So that is my Plumpy shawl. So there's all the knitting. Now, as I sit here in socially distant New York, there is only so much you can do. There's not anywhere near as many outdoor things that I can do anymore, especially with spring coming on. So I have been staring at all kinds of, well, what are the things that I haven't gotten around to doing? So I had this embroidery kit by Cozy Blue Handmade, and I'm like, well, I finally have the time to sit down and figure this out, so let me do it. And I did. I embroidered this gorgeous little piece, and this is it came in a kit. So the pattern is already pre-printed onto the fabric, which is nice. And it came with the embroidery floss and a needle and the hoop. It really came with everything you needed except a pair of scissors, which I've got like 10,000 pairs of scissors around the house. So there was this. And it gave you very brief instructions about what stitch to use and where. And I just kind of YouTubed how to do each stitch. So it was nice that I was able to figure out how to do the straight stitch and the back stitch and the chain stitch and these little, what kind of knots were they? I don't think they were French knots, maybe colonial knots? Now I don't remember. I could be mixing them up with the pattern that I'm working on now, because as I finished this, it's like, oh my God, I'm in love. I just want to do more of this. It's really soothing, really relaxing, and since the Plumpy shawl is not really pulling at my heartstrings right now, I've been looking for greener pastures. So this fit that ticket, and it was much more portable, and I could just kind of work on it and put it down without being in the middle of this huge row where I have to think about where I'm at. And it was great. So that's that, and I really loved it. So loving it so much that I decided to do another one. So this is also a pattern by Cozy Blue Handmade, and here you can see how the pattern is printed onto the fabric. All right, I'm not sure if it's going to come out as mirror image or you're going to be able to read it, but it says, "Show up, be true, be kind, keep going," which, let's be honest, that's words to live by in our house. Just keep going, because that's all you can do. So there's a lot of new stitches to me in this, and I like that I'm learning new things, and it's not like a massive undertaking to do these things. That's what I love about it. So there's going to be like satin stitch and a fishbone stitch, which kind of looks like the satin stitch, but just kind of gives like these. That's a very accurate description. I know. But anyway, different kinds of knots, and it's flowery and it's beautiful, and I like the colors, and I guess I can show you a picture of what it's supposed to look like. No, I can't because I don't have it handy. So you're out of luck. You'll just see more of it next time. But that's really what I've been working on. Other than that, we have just been doing school stuff and doing work stuff and chasing our dog around, and we're trying to get outside a little bit each day just to get some fresh air and burn off some of that energy, because, you know, being cooped up in a 2-bedroom place in Queens doesn't give you the whole lot of running around room. So fortunately, we have a big green courtyard in front of our co-op where the kids can run around, and we take the bikes out, we play freeze tag and hide and seek, and we walk the dog, and we do all kinds of stuff just to get it all out. and that's what our days have been. So hopefully this won't last for too much longer, but I know that here in New York we are going to be on this boat till at least May 15th, and that's about another month from now. So, you know, we'll see where we're at with that. I don't know if and when the kids are really going to go back to school this school year. I know that we were really looking forward to Dermot starting T-ball this past week. Yeah, last weekend. But I emailed them, and it's not officially canceled yet. They're kind of on a waiting pattern. They're looking to see if and when schools go back, and they could just start the T-ball season a little later and go into the summer if they need to. I don't know. We'll see. I know I was looking forward to T-ball, and I think Dermot was too. But other than that, we're making it work. So I hope you guys all have a wonderful week, and I hope you're all staying safe and healthy, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye.